Welcome to the Akashic forecast for March 2024. This is a month full of lightness and reconfigurations and resolutions that bring about more lightness and space in our lives. It might sound lovely on the surface. It also might come with some cost, which would be your suffering. So, if you would like to know more, please stay tuned for the full forecast, where I will also explain what is the Akashic Record, what are we doing here. I guarantee you it is worth it for this time, this month, to check it out. All right, see you there. All right, hello again. If I didn't say so before, my name is Justin, and welcome to the full forecast for March 2024. I will briefly now explain what the Akashic Records are and what I do. The Akashic Records are basically the memory and consciousness of everything that it does, everything that it has done, is doing, and could do. It is the nature of our one awareness to have a memory, if you will, or imprint, if you will, although these things are not quite accurate. But within the nature of awareness itself, or consciousness itself, is everything that it has done and could do in potential. And for since the beginning of human activity, it seems people have been going into this source, into this level of awareness, this level of knowledge, to get guidance, support, perspective. And every month I open up the records of that month to receive whatever guidance, support, perspective there might be for us on this journey of transformation that is living. And I am an Akashic reader. I'm also an artist and performer. If you want to know more about me, you can see my information in the description below. So very briefly, I want to pivot now to the forecast itself. The first thing about March they really want us to know is that it is a month of lightening, meaning lightening the load. Lightening the load. We have been coming into 2024, many of us, with a fair amount of load, karmic load, burdens, in the form of long-term questions that haven't been answered in our lives, even like contracts that we have, both formally and informally, unspoken, with other people, even soul contracts, relationships that are binding us together in configurations that are suboptimal. So again, connections, contracts, if you will, agreements with others that are murky, ill-fitting, suboptimal, and we're, as human beings, very attached to what we know. And in March, a lot of these suboptimal, they keep saying, configurations, relationships, contracts, agreements are coming to an end. This is about lightening the load. It's about lightening the load, making more space and lightness. You might have felt March was very heavy with some of this, and it could be in the form of an agreement that was made, a long-term agreement made with somebody where the terms weren't actually clear. And in March, they're going to clear up, and everyone's going to finally understand what the best configuration is, and what the relationship should be. What's the best relationship for everyone? So that might feel dramatic, and they want to say some more about how to work with this kind of change. But they also want to say more examples of some of these contracts or configurations that are being lightened up, issues, questions. So sometimes we have questions in our lives that linger and linger and linger, like someone's looking for a relationship or looking for a new career or a new job. These or even big like national or international configurations or issues. Um, who's going to be the nominee for president, or who's going to are they qualified or disqualified from the Supreme Court, the office, etc. Stuff like this. A lot of these kinds of questions are going to be put to bed in March. Simply, what I'm hearing here is that simply so that we are less preoccupied with it, so that we do not fill our minds with the anxiety that these questions and ill-fitting configurations create. Again, it's about alleviating the anxiety. There's this feeling of like we're trying to shoehorn ourselves into particular contracts or agreements we've made that don't really work, or we are anxious about not knowing what's going to be happening with X, Y, or Z that's looming over our head. In March, a lot of this is going to be resolved. Now, that does bring relief to have a clarity and resolution. And they also want to address that this can bring up stress too, when we don't get the clarity that we think is right. We don't get the answer that we think is best. And they want to just address a few things about this so that you can weather this with a little bit more lightheartedness. So they're kind of giving me the ending of like a mystery novel when the detective finally discovers who the killer is, or the murderer, or the whodunit. So on the one hand, it might be really shocking to learn the truth of whodunit. It might be difficult information to metabolize. It might mean new things about the world that the detective has to come to grips with, live into. And the other thing that the clarity does is it ends the detective's job. They no longer have to go around being consumed with the hunt for the killer, with the anxiety about who did it. They're now free to go live life and pursue things that are more pleasant and light, that might be a little more close to the soul. Another level of burden that this energy is gently and lovingly clearing out is beliefs in the form of shoulds, like people should be kinder, I should be more successful or further along, or I should be getting my Akashic record forecasts out on the first of the month. Things that they just don't fit. Things that are just like not real. Reality is one way, and the mind loves to play God and say, well, actually, it should be this other way. And in March is a lovely, gentle vibration, ushering this, quieting this system of believing, this energy of shoulding on everything. What a great blessing. And like they said earlier, the only cost is your suffering. To lose the shoulds, the only loss is your suffering, really. So embrace it. Another way to think about the energy in March is think of a very joyous and discerning Marie Kondo kind of energy going through your life and the world, and just clearing out things that are cumbersome, ill-fitting, suboptimal, that bring a lot of stress. Mental things, like I was saying, agreements, contracts, stuff that weighs heavily. Stuff that weighs heavily. So, like, if you ever, heard about Marie Kondo, this Japanese woman who helps people declutter, she brings them this question: Does this thing that you might get rid of bring you joy or not? And if not, minimalize, let it, release it. And so in March, there's going to be a lot of that releasing of things, behaviors, contracts, configurations, beliefs that are cumbersome, that just don't bring joy. So, and that's, as I was saying, going to show up in the resolution of long questions that have been weighing on you, and reconfiguring relationships. So, like an obvious example in the relationship department would be like a long-term relationship that's really struggling, that's unhappy, that clarifies itself. Maybe these two people shouldn't be married anymore. Maybe they should open up their marriage or transition to being friends. And in March, there'll be clarities around this, energy around this, and then also the time and space to grow into the new configurations. So there won't be a whole lot of like crazy going on in March. There'll be space for living into, leaning into these transitions, these endings, and new beginnings. There's also a strong invitation to just like get outside and enjoy spring. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, there's a very strong vibration of like flowers and sunlight and this kind of angelic levity and sweetness. It's the pure energy of flowers is really strong in March, and not just because of the transitioning seasons. If you cannot tell, I have a very allergic reaction to the spring. It's not exactly my favorite, but in terms of the energetics of spring, there is, or at least March, there is the lightness and levity and sweetness and color and actual light of flowers is a big part of what's happening and available in March. So they're asking us to get out and enjoy these simple comforts, these simple pleasures. And if you are drawn to spending more time in that lovely vibration, as I am, they're saying it's also a great month to indulge in our favorite little comforts. Maybe it's going to the movies and getting that favorite candy you had when you were a kid, and just like let yourself savor and enjoy these simple little pleasures. So get the red vines or whatever it is that you loved when you were a kid. This is a great month to indulge in that, and to ask your friends, the people in your community, if there's anyone who wants to join you for that. Sometimes we need a little boost from one another to get out and indulge in simplicity and simple pleasures. There is no room for being glued to the phone and the news in March if we're going to embrace that angelic, delicate, sweet vibration. They don't go together. So they really want you to know that. Like, put away the phones and the news. Don't, you can't do both, basically. It's like trying to mix, if you're going to mix ice cream flavors, it's like trying to mix vanilla and like lasagna flavored ice cream or something. It's like, no, it doesn't compute. So just, put it away. And to a part of us, that delicate light vibration, while it may not be loud like the vibration of the news, which is full of all kinds of, conflict and righteousness and indignation and all of this, the subtler, the more delicate, the flower energy, it does have an intoxication to it. It does pull. And so let it have you. March, go ahead and let that vibration call you out, call you outside, call you into it, and enjoy it. Not necessarily has to be outside. It could be simply enjoying a lovely pleasure at home that has always been a favorite. So I do want to close a little bit with, again, how to weather the difficult changes. They want you to know that whatever you might be losing, whatever change you might be going through, like they mentioned, relationships changing, so, some important form to a relationship ending, a question about a complicated agreement, maybe a business agreement or another kind of soul agreement ending. The great benefit to that is that it leaves so much space in you. And they want you to focus on that piece, how it gives space in you. The anxiety is no longer weighing on you. So to focus on the space that it brings so that you can go and enjoy the flowers and the simple pleasures and the pet comforts and feel loved. That's what all those things do. They help you feel loved. And March is full of it. So focus on the space that changes bring and feel that caring, loving, angelic energy that's coming through. Okay. Thank you all. Stay in touch. Have a great March. Bye-bye.